I'm sorry for any mistakes. English is not my first language. My friend has been a friend of mine for a long time. Because she didn't have a car, I used to give her rides to fun activities we could both do, like partying, going to the mall, going to the beach. You get the idea. Well, one day she got pregnant from an unknown guy at a party, and she decided to keep the baby and jokingly said to me that I'm going to be the baby's uncle. Oh boy. Well, I didn't mind helping her from time to time, taking her to the doctor's appointments, going with her to the mall to get her some baby clothes, things that I honestly didn't enjoy. I even had to miss work sometimes to help her. But I knew she was in a tight spot and helped her anyways. This became something of a routine. A month ago, she texted me that she needed me to take her to a doctor's appointment for a routine check the next day in the morning, 7 a.m. She sent the message at 10 p.m. and when she sent it, I was already with my friends getting ready to go partying. Well, I told her that and that I wouldn't be able to go. When I told her, she started calling me, demanding that I took them home so I can rest and take her and the baby to go to the doctor's appointment. When I said no, she got angry and started saying things like, "You're not really a good friend. I should take her baby more seriously. It's time to grow up." And I decided to ignore her from that point, and we haven't talked since. Well, one mutual friend found out about it and said I'm not really a good friend and that I should have told the rest of the group so we could have decided what to do in the moment. But the thing is, I hadn't had fun in such a long time because of me helping her that I didn't want to do that, and from that moment the group has been divided between the people who think I'm an a-hole and the rest. Before you ask, the rest of the group doesn't have a car. If there is any grammar or spelling mistakes, please let me know. So Reddit, am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole, OP. It's not even your kid. You have been, in my opinion, a great friend by even helping her and taking her to appointments when you did. Now she wants to get mad, and your other friends too? When did they offer to help? Why can't one of them drive her since they are so outraged? The one time you say no to have fun for yourself, she gets mad at you. You're definitely not the a-hole. You have no obligation to help your friend raise her kid with someone else. Let her have the baby daddy's help. He should be somewhat responsible. Instead of telling you it's time to grow up, maybe she should be telling that to the person she had the baby with. Now for some comments. Not the a-hole. You need to set up some serious boundaries. You are not responsible for her problems. As a friend, she's allowed to ask you for favors within a reasonable time frame, but she's not allowed to expect rides and demand you accommodate her. That's not being a friend. That's being a user and a bully. Tell her you're not an unpaid taxi service. Not the a-hole. Source: I'm a mom who didn't have a car for all those doctor's appointments. I never shit on people that helped me by giving them such little notice. I would start asking the day the appointment was made for arrangements. It also helped my peace of mind. But I didn't like asking people for help like that either, and I always offered gas money or coffee or something to anyone who helped me. Your friend is not grateful for all you've done so far, and she's lashed out because she expects you to be her fail-safe option. Not the a-hole. It is extremely strange and awkward for her to expect a random friend to take a child to a doctor appointment. I have had my best friend since middle school, and I have been a single mom for 11 years. I have never and would never ask my friend to take my child to a wellness appointment. That's so inappropriate. And legally, you aren't a parent, so you can't consent to the child getting any medical treatment there anyway. If she would like some help, she can ask you, but she needs to understand that it's an ask. Asking gives you the option to say no for any reason of your choosing or no reason. If she is upset with you for saying no, she wasn't asking. She was attempting to make a demand. Again, not your child, so not your responsibility. Story 2. I have 2 boys, 21 and 23, from my first marriage, and a girl with my current wife, Jay. Jay has a daughter, my stepdaughter V, 18, with a first partner. My deceased ex-wife and I have created a trust fund for our 2 boys, and when she passed away, they both got a large inheritance, since she came from a wealthy family. When me and Jay got married, she stopped working and is currently a stay-at-home mom to our daughter, 13. I have 3 trust funds for my children and separate college funds. I thought V's dad would be smart enough to do something similar, but he currently has 0 savings for V and my wife has none either. Jay and I do have some savings, but that is for when I retire. V asked me to pay for her college, but I currently can't pay for it. I don't have the money saved up for her. Jay is upset but understands that I can't use our savings or my children's money. It's not my fault her dad didn't save up, and I'm not willing to take money from my children. V now has to apply for student loans, and my sister-in-law called me an a-hole for not paying for her college fee. Whilst I won't change my decision, I wonder if I'm an a-hole or not for not paying for V. Edit. I have seen a lot of comments calling V's dad a deadbeat, but that is not the case. V stays with him 3 days a week. He is very much involved in her life. OP, everyone sucks except for the daughter. You suck the least out of all the adults, but it sounds like you should have had the foresight to know that this could be an issue down the road. I'm only gonna focus on you, but her mother and biological dad are obviously sucky for not planning ahead for their daughter. You shouldn't ruin your retirement or rip apart the savings for other kids, but you should be creating a plan to handle this rather than just saying no, not gonna pay. It's her dad's responsibility. Now for some comments. You're the a-hole. The responsibility to provide a college fund for V is 50% on V's dad and 50% on V's mom. When you married V's mom and agreed to be the sole income earner, you took on your wife's financial needs in exchange for her staying home and minding the house. You have been this girl's parent for the past 13 years, and you didn't once stop to think that you needed to be setting aside college money for both your kids. Everyone sucks here except the kids. Y'all really did this girl dirty. Sure, your wife agreed to this arrangement, but you know who didn't? Your stepdaughter. Now she has to foot the bill of her tuition because none of the adults in her life really thought of her future. At least help her a little bit by agreeing to cover her expenses like groceries and books, maybe housing if possible, or have your wife go back to work to help pay for the costs. What 13-year-old needs a stay-at-home mom? PM me if your stepdaughter needs any advice on college or applying for scholarships and financial aid. I got her since none of y'all do. So how exactly was your wife supposed to save for her daughter if she is a stay-at-home mom? If you were able to save for your children, surely you two should have come up with a way to save something for her daughter. I'm not saying you're responsible for paying for all of her college, but I would say you're a little a-hole if you do nothing at all for her. Given that you've had your wife be a stay-at-home mom for so many years and she had no money of her own to save. Upon reading more comments, you and your wife both suck at treating this child as obviously less important than yourselves, your children, and basically everything else. You can afford a housekeeper, your wife chooses not to work, or do anything it seems. Everyone sucks here. Story 3. My wife, 34 female, and I, 33 male, are having our second child. We have a daughter, 5. She's been grouchy her whole pregnancy, so her sister offered to plan a gender reveal party. The plan was that all the food and decorations would be blue or pink, and in the end we'd get one of those special sparklers that would light up in either blue or pink to reveal the gender. We went to the doctor and got her to write the result on a folded piece of paper that we passed over to her sister without looking. So flash forward to the day of the party, and the moment of truth comes and the sparkler turns out to be pink for a girl. I don't know what came over me, but all I felt at that moment was very bitter disappointment. To be honest, all I was hoping for baby number 2 is to be able to toss a ball around with him and coach Little League, or watch him go on Boy Scouts camping trips. I know my daughter is only 5, but I've already started to deal with the dramas of being a father of a girl. And the thought of having to double up now on the neuroticism was harrowing. I grew up in a house with 3 older boys and 1 younger sister, and I can't imagine seeing myself be outnumbered. My wife grabbed my arm as people were approaching us to say their congratulations and said I needed to look happier. And that moment, I just snapped. I shook my head and walked out to my car. We came separately and drove to my sister's 21 females house. I started getting texts from my sister-in-law and my wife saying way to reenact their dad leaving their mom when they were 10 and 12. I felt like that accusation was unfair and that I just needed some time alone. I didn't ask to be flabbergasted. It just happened. And I don't think that it's fair that they would have demanded I smile and nod for the next couple of hours. Am I the a-hole? Now for some comments. You're the a-hole and a ridiculous sexist. The neuroticism you're experiencing from your 5-year-old? Are you kidding? Get over yourself. As hard as your life is being a girl dad, being an actual girl is much harder. Mostly due to men like you. You're afraid of being outnumbered. Maybe try learning to respect women and girls, so you don't have to be afraid of them. You need therapy. You're the a-hole. Holy shit, do I feel bad for your wife and daughters. How shitty your wife must feel. I hope your daughter never hears this story. But with the way families work, I'm afraid she will, and of course she'll be hurt by it. Also hate to point out the obvious, but you can't throw a ball with your daughter, you know. I was a little tomboy growing up and I would have loved to have my dad teach me sports or take me camping. The outnumbered part made me laugh. My husband jokes about being outnumbered because we have 2 daughters and even our dog is a girl. In reality, it has no effect on anything except when my 6-year-old tries to be funny by saying, "Only girls are allowed." You're the a-hole, OP. It was a 50-50 chance. Your reaction is now public, and your child will hear about it at some point and she will feel like crap. You wanted a boy, fine. But if you couldn't deal with having a girl, you should not have had a public gender announcement. Or another kid, probably. Also, my dad was a sports fanatic, and neither of his sons ended up being athletic. And they both would have faked a serious illness if it meant getting out of camping.